Do you ever just hold hands with your dog? It's nice. Good morning. It actually is morning. Hi. Welcome to our talk show. So Matt's schedule is, how you say, haphazard. There's no pattern to it and pretty much no warning as to what he's doing every day. So I'm having to learn how to be rather spontaneous and flexible, which I think is good stuff for me to practice. Good stuff, yes, good stuff all around. Because Matt being gone time is also known as filming time. All that to say, I was not expecting to start a project today. Hello. Thank you. But yeah, I'm starting a project today, and I'm pretty darn happy about it. You're so distracting because you're so beautiful. This idea went on my gotta do it list after I sat for a while staring at my fabric stash. Insert fabric stash here. I mean, who doesn't just sit on their bed staring at the corner of the room where their fabric is stacked in precarious piles? And while looking upon the lovely blue tablecloth that I found at Goodwill in my last haul, it came to me. Reversible wrap circle skirt. I did 2 videos of making skirts without patterns, and out of that I turned out 5 skirts made out of bed sheets. And we're still coming out of winter, so it's not really like prime wear skirts time of year, but the one that I've been wearing the most is actually the purple wrap skirt that I made very first. Was not expecting that to be the one that I was like, love it, let's do it. I threw it on the other day and I was like, this is incredibly comfortable. I love the way that it swishes. I love that it's wrap because it's just super easy to put on. And I can actually wear like a dress underneath the skirt, like a pencil kind of shaped dress, throw the skirt on top, and then not have to worry about like putting on Spanx. It was also the easiest one to make because no zipper. You don't have to make it exactly your waist size. That one was a total mistake. I did not expect to make a wrap skirt. I just accidentally made it too big because math. So wrap skirts were on the brain, and looking at this blue fabric with the white lace next to it, I was getting Cinderella vibes, and I was like, how about I do like a blue skirt and then put a white overlay with the lace? If I'm gonna do a double layered skirt, I can easily make one of the layers the blue fabric, which doesn't have a right or wrong side, and then the other layer is the lace. So then on one side I could have just a blue skirt, and on the other side I could have a blue lacy skirt. So it's reversible. That's my point. The whole thing seems kind of straightforward. Like, I think potentially the most complicated part would be putting like a hole in the waistband so that the other end of the tie can go through it. In like traditional wraparound form, you don't want to have to like shift the waistband around. I don't know if I'm explaining this well. I think if you've ever had anything wrap, you know what I mean. Like, you need a hole so that the other tie can go through it so that you can have a nice straight waistband. And I think that's probably going to be the most complicated part. Oh, pockets. I would really like to put pockets on this thing, but it's reversible. So how does that work? So that'll be a thing to figure out, because I really want to put pockets in anything that I make. I need to be able to put my phone in something because I don't like carrying purses. Stop weighing women down with purses. Let us have pockets. This is my quest. This is my goal. This is what I'm gonna do today. I think that I should maybe get to work. Yeah, probably. But I should also maybe spend a solid half hour cuddling this little tush. So I kind of immediately was like, oh wait, this may not be possible because these pieces of lace aren't that big, and you need a fairly big piece of fabric in order to do a circle skirt. Also, the birds are really loud because the door's open. Let's see how big this is because all of my plans might be ruined. I want to make a full circle skirt, which means I need it to be in 4 layers. I mean, that's not bad. Oh, you know what I just realized? Because I'm doing it as a wrap skirt, I have to make it 1.5 the size of my waist. So we're talking 48 inches, which according to my math, or rather the calculator that I used online because I'm too lazy to do the math, that means the radius is 7.5. So if you know how circle skirts work, that means that from the corner to the waistband, to the start of the actual skirt, is 7.5 inches, and then from there is where the actual skirt is starting. So by the time you take 7.5 inches out of this, I'm gonna have like a mini skirt left. Did I do all of this for nothing? The shortest side is 29 inches. The question is, how long is a 21.5-inch skirt on me? Because if this is gonna be too short, there's no point. The whole idea of this is that it would be like a nice, full-sized T-length skirt, sort of 1950s style, which is how I prefer to wear them. I almost don't want to measure because I know I'm going to be disappointed. See where that's ending? That would probably be super cute, but would I wear it? When I fold the tablecloth into 4ths, you get kind of the same size because it's a long rectangle, but the rectangle-ishness of it doesn't help at all. Is my hand delicious? I'm stuck with a 21-inch skirt. I would rather make a shorter skirt that maybe I won't wear super frequently and learn something from it than not make anything at all, because that's the other option, is just to not make anything at all. The good news is that I'll have plenty of the blue fabric left over to make the waistband and possibly the pockets out of. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I used the 7-inch radius and then the 29-inch length, which was as much as I could possibly get out of it, to cut out the proper circle on the lace. And then I just laid that lace on top of the blue fabric and used it as a guide so that I wouldn't have to draw everything out again. Then I cut down one side to open both of them up since it's going to be wrap anyway, and I pinned the tops together and somehow managed to have about 2 inches more on the blue fabric than on the lace. How does this always happen to me? How does that happen? Then I needed to figure out how long the waistband needed to be in order to not only attach to the top of the skirt, which should be about 48 inches, but also then wrap all the way around my waist the necessary number of times and tie in a bow. I started by just using a piece of yarn to try to measure out the distance, wrapping it around my waist the way that I imagined it would be wrapped around for the actual skirt. And then I measured the piece of yarn that I had left over and got 140 inches, which just seemed like astronomically long. 140 inches long? So then I decided to test it again using a piece of ribbon that I had left over, probably from like the gift wrapping on something. Always save the ribbons. Those things are just free material there. So I pinned the whole top of the skirt to the ribbon and then wrapped that around my waist like I would be doing it with the actual waistband. And yeah, it was only long enough to like tie a knot in the back, which is not ideal. It's not my plan. I want it to be able to go all the way around to the front again and tie a bow up there. And that ribbon was 82 inches long. So yeah, I guess the 140 is right, even though that's just God, so long. I had plenty of fabric left over, of course, so I could make the waistband as big as I wanted. I decided to go 5 inches wide, 5.5 to be safe, and then I'm gonna double it over, and ultimately I want it to be like 2 inches wide in the end. But I can only go 60 inches at the longest, so I cut out 120 inches and tried that out, and it still was not long enough, so I went ahead and did 3 pieces that all sewed together. So now I have 180 inches about on my waistband, which, like, okay, it'll give it a nice long tails to make the bow out of. So yeah, that works. I pinned everything together and it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. The length, honestly, I thought it would be really short, and of course it is gonna be a little shorter than this in the end once I hem it and everything, but I'm honestly not disliking it. I think it'll be okay. And then I used pins to mark where the hole in the waistband should be so that I can pull the other side of the tail through it and tie it nice and evenly. And I also marked where the pockets should fall just about, because this is just a solid piece of fabric, so I'm gonna have to actually like cut a slit where I want the pockets to fall. And speaking of pockets, my next task was to figure out how the crap I'm gonna do these pockets. So I used some random fabric I have that is such a weird color. When am I ever gonna use this? And I tried to just test out in sort of mini form how this would work. And honestly, the thing I imagined in my head, basically making two pockets that go into each other depending on which side of the skirt is on the outside, it looks like it'll work. I mean, I did this very fast, stuff wasn't quite the right measurements, I didn't sew it exactly properly how you should for a pocket, but like, it kind of works. So I'm gonna move forward with that idea and yeah, we'll see what happens. So that's where we are. I thought I would need to go to the store before I could start sewing this because I didn't think that I had blue thread, but apparently I do. I think this is because of the other sheet I bought a while ago that is blue. It's slightly different, but like not enough to matter. So yeah, I guess I could actually go ahead and start sewing this together. If only I knew how. This is the part of every sewing project, because I'm not using a pattern and I don't have any instructions to follow, where I'm just like, what is the proper order that I should be doing this in? I'm gonna think this through and then I will carry on with this and we will get it done. Against my better judgment, I went ahead and attached both sides of the skirt to the waistband as soon as I had the waistband pretty much finished. Cause like, I wanted to see if it was right, if it would look good. I skipped ahead. It ended up working, so far at least. No! Wait, what? No, it's right. I sewed up the two sides of the skirt and then pinned everything and pressed everything so that it was folded over and the seams were nice and all that good stuff. And then I had to figure out top stitching. I decided that I would top stitch across the entire center section of the waistband, actually on the waistband rather than on the skirt like you normally would. And I got about 2/3 of the way down before I realized that that was a terrible, terrible idea. Eesh. Yeesh. Gah. Eesh. So after unpicking all of those seams and repinning everything properly, I was pretty done for the night. By the next morning, I had decided that I would hand sew all the top stitching, so I settled in for a nice, peaceful, quiet morning of stitching. That is, until the sprinklers turned on outside, and then the construction started on the street, and then the spam calls started rolling in. And then I got a random song from Anastasia stuck in my head. The puppy also stole my comfy chair the second I got out of it, but I managed to steal it back the second he got out of it, so our game of chair tag continues. After I finished a few small sections of necessary hand stitching, I then started working on the top stitching, and despite trying it like 2 or 3 different ways, I could never get more than an inch down before I hated it. So back to the machine I went. I switched out my bobbin thread from blue to white so that there would be white thread on the lace side where it's white and blue thread on the blue side. Look at me figuring out basic sewing things. And you know what? Here's the deal. Normally you would only see top stitching from one side. The other side would be hidden on the inside of your skirt. So this is actually the best top stitching I have yet to do until you flip it over, and it's not great. Once again, the reversibleness of this skirt has, you know, made it a little more difficult. But ultimately, I'm kind of okay with this because it's mostly white thread. It blends into the lace fairly decently, and like, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna consider my great top stitching on the other side to be a straight up win. And that's where we are. I mean, this thing is freaking adorable. The little hole in the side to thread the ties through is working absolutely perfectly. I probably could have put it a few inches further back just for safety, because right now it's like right on the limit of where it needs to be, but you know what? It works. It's all good. And both versions of this skirt are so cute. The blue side is great. The lace side is great. You can tie the bow in the front. You can tie the bow in the back. It's swishy. It's spinny. I am loving this. And you know, at this point, I could just hem this skirt and be done with it. But the pockets. Did I make my life way more difficult by putting the whole skirt together before trying to figure out how to put reversible pockets in here? Yeah, of course I did. It's a tough call now because I could potentially ruin this skirt by trying to put pockets in it. From the beginning, I knew this would involve just cutting a slit in both layers of the fabric, and that could go really wrong. And then I've gone from having this super cute skirt to having a mess that I can't wear. I'm really debating this right now. Because on the one hand, like right now I'm wearing a dress with no pockets and I have no place to put my mic pack. And if I go outside, I have no place to put my phone, and like, it's annoying. We all know how annoying it is to not have pockets. But on the other hand, after having successfully created a wrap reversible circle skirt, do I really want to destroy all of that possibly? You know I'm gonna. I can't not. I left the bottom open so that I would still be able to do this at all. And I know the plan. I know what I should do. I feel like it should work. Matt came home last night and gave me all of his ideas for how to do a reversible pocket, and they all basically boiled down to the exact same idea I already have, which was comforting because, as I've mentioned before, he tends to like think through things like this better, even though he has no idea what I was talking about. If one side of this skirt was not lace, it would be way easier because you could have a pocket inside the layers of the skirt. But I've made it harder for myself again by making it see-through on one side. That's what he said. He was like, well, why is it see-through on one side? I'm gonna finish my coffee and try to psych myself up for this. There is naught else to do but to do it. Let's do it. I'm gonna do it. Right now, I'm gonna do it. You heard it here first. I'm gonna do it. So it's been a little bit. A few days have gone by between me finishing this skirt and wrapping up this video. Mainly because I do a lot of like background jobs because, you know, if you live in LA, why not? I had one of those and it delayed the finishing process. It is also the reason why I am rather sunburned now. This is a lot better than it looked 2 days ago, let me tell you. Yeah. We had a 14-hour day outside on set with very bright sun, and I, like the smart person I am, did not put on sunscreen. So I just got a little bit burnt. It's fine. But yes, now I am free and I could finish talking about this skirt. I don't really know where I stopped talking, so sorry if the end of this video got a little convoluted and strange. I am super pleased with this skirt. I think it's adorable. I'm totally okay with how the length turned out. The color is so cute no matter which side you wear. I love the bow. I love that it's reversible. Like, this turned out really well despite almost ruining it with the pocket fiasco. I've at least got the one pocket on one side. I can put my mic pack in a pocket. Yes. Doing the hem was real interesting since it was the very last thing that I did. I had to do it kind of like you would sew up like a pillow covering or something. I had to turn the whole thing inside out and try to line it up properly and then sew most of it closed, turn it right side out, and then like hand stitch the last little bit closed because the whole thing is basically, you know, a giant two-sided thing. I have no words right now. I do need to invest in some more like clothing I can wear with it. This is literally like the only white shirt I have and it's not even very comfortable and it doesn't fit super well. I think if you are starting out sewing garments at home and you like skirts, then this is a really easy style of skirt to make, doing it wrap style basically. Whether you do like the tie laces or like the hook and eye like I did on the last one, it just really makes the whole process so much simpler because you don't have to worry about putting in a zipper, which can be a little scary as a beginner. I still don't like it. And you don't have to worry about sizing it precisely, which is the problem I'm still running into a lot when I'm making these skirts, is that I feel like I'm sizing them right and then it always comes out as like, ooh, I can barely get this zipped, or it's like an inch too big still and it's not like sitting perfectly on my waist the way it should. Doing a wrap skirt saves all of that hassle. Highly recommend starting there if you are trying to kind of work your way up to being better at sewing. I think this is definitely my favorite skirt that I've made yet. I plan to wear it a lot if I can find stuff to go with it. I plan to wear it very soon, so well worth the time. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I am very hungry and I need to go eat some food, so thanks for joining me on yet another sewing adventure. There will be more, obviously. You saw my fabric stash. I gotta get to sewing.